Good morning. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. How are we doing today? This is, and you are in the right place, is the Diamond Factor Experience with Barbara Beckley and experts and special guests. I always add that there because it wouldn't be the show if it wasn't for the experts and the special guests. As I always say, it takes a team. It takes a team. So, saying that, because I'm very vulnerable when it comes to things, and I always tell people learn from the experience of others. Learn from the experience of others. So, this morning, real quickly, I was going to talk a little bit about handling challenges in life, because as we've been doing that from the past year and now in the present, there's a way to handle them. And then something this morning happened with me. And I said, okay, this is a good example. So I found out that different music and recordings, if you have the rights to them, and this is a good thing to know, if you're doing videos and everything, uh, certain streams like Facebook and other things will put a disclaimer out. So I found out some of my shows was not showing on Facebook. And I was there because people were asking me, well, Barbara, are you still on the show? The show's still on. I haven't seen you. And I'm like, I mean, people that look at it on Facebook, not the other programs that I'm on. And I was like, yeah, what are you talking about? I see it. Then I come to find out they sent me a disclaimer. And I was like, well, wait a minute now. I don't understand. You've been putting this show on for 2 months. Now all of a sudden you want to put a stamp disclaimer on it. I'm like, what? I said, it would have been nice if you would have told me a little bit earlier. Just saying. So the challenge was I had to basically change some things at the beginning. So which I did, because one thing about it, this show is going to go on. And whatever I have to do to make sure everybody's happy, we will make it work. So, with that said, learn from the challenges. Don't let it disturb you. Don't let it paralyze you, but let it propel you to move forward. And with that, I'm going right into our wonderful expert today, which is Iqbal, because I want to make sure you hear everything he has to say for his session this morning, because you know he always brings some things that will, I said just earlier, propel you to that next level. So here we go. I'm so excited. I can't wait. I know I'm like a little kid in the candy store.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome to the middle of January. I hope you've all had a wonderful weekend. I'm excited to be here with you today, and I'm excited to talk to you about a very different approach to our careers, because for the last 60 days, we've spent a lot of time on each of these episodes talking about career advancement, resumes, networking, interview tips, and a variety of different skill sets, techniques, tips, and tools that can help propel your career future in going forward. But I also want to be mindful of some of the things that have taken place in the last week, really, that brings us to a different topic that I think is really critical for us to discuss. And it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat, a Republican, an independent, whatever you are, this is not about politics per se, because when we think about leadership, leadership is an element that invades and actually pervades throughout the entire course of our different aspects of our lives. Right? We have good leaders, we have bad leaders. We have leaders that are front and center. We have leaders that are masterful mind motivators from behind, and a variety of different personalities as well. But I think it's important that we start addressing effective leadership and why leadership is as important as it is, more so than today. I think the elephant in the room that we really need to bring up front and really discuss is some of the things that have happened in the last week. Now, whether you're in the United States, whether you are watching this in Europe or in any other part of the world, I think a lot of us were very, very surprised, scared, shocked, and just simply dumbfounded at some point by some of the images and the videos that we saw on TV of people running through Capitol Hill, and being incited by somebody that was causing that sort of behavior. And whether, again, we're talking more politics or in the corporate setting or even at home, like leadership it's a calling, but at the same time, it's a huge responsibility. And whether we're talking about leaders in your religious community, whether we're talking about leaders in your like community itself where you live, whether it's at work, even in the family, a leader is somebody that is responsible for its followers and for the welfare and the being of its people. And the more I see different examples of where leadership has its where its leadership has its abilities to influence, I think it's mindful and I think it's important that we recognize the value of good leadership. Because if you have very talented people and very passionate people, and they are all working in a group, but there is no leader, you will see something that's called entropy, a loss of energy. You will see a lack of focus. You will see a variety of activities or energy being expended, but not in a productive capacity. And so whether you're the leader of your family, whether you're the leader of a small or large group at work, whether you are a member and a leader of a religious organization, or even in politics, I think it's important that we recognize where and why effective leadership is critical. So we're going to talk about really a variety of things here. We're going to talk about what leaders do. We're going to talk about how we know leaders are effective. And of course, number 3, what leaders should be held responsible for. For those of you that are tuning in for the first time, my name is Iqbal Atcha. I'm a career consultant, a leadership coach, and a personal branding expert. For the past 20 years, I've been helping Fortune 500 companies, small businesses, and nonprofits attract new audiences, hire talented people, and develop a new generation of leaders. Today, I help students, professionals, and executives advance their career, build a better brand, and create a leadership legacy. So let's go back to the conversation of leaders, right? When you have somebody that is either officially or unofficially leading your group, the title itself is irrelevant, right? You can have a president, you can have a director, you can have a manager, but the title itself does not allow or empower a leader to do anything more than what its followers will allow it to do. And I think that that's something that we also should be mindful of, right? Whether you're talking about your pastor, your imam, your rabbi, or whether you're talking about, as we said, director, manager, anything of the sort, right? There's a level of trust that is built between leaders and followers. In some cases, leadership is automatically granted because of an election or because of an appointment or because of a promotion or a hire. But trust is not automatically granted. In fact, trust is something that is built over time through repeated interactions, through conversations. And to be honest with you, when we think about leaders today, most leaders are good leaders. Most leaders are able to take a step back and look at the people that are in their group, understand what their pain points are, recognize what it is that will help them achieve more, and actually work with them to provide them options, encouragement, direction, and help them achieve that goal. That is what leaders do. Now, I say good leaders, right? Because there's a difference between good leaders and great leaders. A lot of this is a conversation that we will get into over the next few weeks, because my intent is that while this episode today lays the foundation of what effective leadership or what the reasons why we need good leaders are, the next few weeks is going to really delve into a variety of topics that are leadership characteristics and how we can develop them for ourselves and encourage them in others. But when we think about why leaders are important today, it's because we need somebody that we can trust. We need somebody that can help give us guidance and vision. So one of the things that I recognized over the 30 years of being in a leadership position, whether it was for a student group when I was in pharmacy school, whether it was being part of an organization like Toastmasters or Illinois Pharmacists Association, whether it was as a director at either Walmart or Anthem, the things that I recognize is that a good leader listens to his people. A good leader recognizes where the strengths of its followers are and the opportunities, and works to help those strengths either be enhanced and fortify some of those opportunities. Another thing that's important as a leader, and why we need good leaders, is because leaders unify. Good leaders can unify different groups within that structure. Think about it this way. If you're a director or a manager, right, and you are working with different people with different personalities and different strengths and different skill sets, your job is to be able to move everything forward. Right? If you are the CEO of a company, you probably have an IT department and an HR department and a legal department and an operations group, and you have sales and marketing, and all of them are very, very good at what they do. But one of them may think that they're more important than the other, or one of them may believe that without them, the company falls. The CEO, whoever is in charge, the leader, recognizes that every one of these groups has something to contribute towards the greater good, and therefore is able to unify all different parts to move the organization forward. And that is where good leaders also have the ability to step in. They have the ability to recognize that everyone has a strength and everyone has something to contribute. And there is equality amongst different groups. So there can be differences, but in the end, the entire unit, the entire company, the political party, the government, the country, whatever we're talking, even the religious center, none of these entities can survive without every part playing its role. And that is where we need to have good leaders that can see the big picture, that can recognize that, hey, I need all of these pieces to work in harmony with each other. And while today the sales and marketing team is going to be awesome and they're going to go out and they're going to do all these projects, when we have all of these new clients that just sign on board with us, they need to be, handled well with our customer service department, or they need to be managed with our IT department, whatever the story may be. It's critical that good leaders recognize the entire unit. Another factor, I think, that's important. So we've talked about listening to your followers and understanding where their pain points are, and what makes them, fortifying their strengths. We talked about equality. Another factor is respect. Right? Respect is something that we need to be able to do, and respect comes along with clear communication. When you have a leader that is not clear in what she or he is driving their people to do, there's no vision, there's no concept of what are we working towards, right? This is a crisis that's coming today, but hey, you know what? We're working on it. No details, no clarity. There is signs of concern. A good leader maintains their calm in the face of crises, but at the same time provides direction, leverages resources, paints a picture of where we need to be and how we're going to get there. A leader is somebody that reassures its people that everything is going to be fine when the world is going to pan a pot. That is how leaders operate. And there's a reason for that. Because people, as human beings, no matter where you are, who you are, what you believe, and how you operate, people need security. People need to trust their leaders or trust someone that they believe can guide them through some of these challenges today and work with them or work with the processes that are available to unify their group and achieve the goals. Again, I know this may come across a little bit as, especially in light of recent events, some of the political aspects, right? But I think it goes beyond that. When we think of like some of the religious centers, especially like, some of the churches, the mosques, the synagogues and temples, they have a mission. And their mission is, of course, to spread their belief to other people and also just to be kind to human society that's in their vicinity, right? But there's a lot of moving parts. And sometimes they face challenges. I know churches that face, financial concerns because they're not able to pay the rent, especially in the light of the pandemic where donations are down, right? I also understand that a lot of religious centers that normally did a lot of community outreach have had to curtail that because of the pandemic, and they're no longer able to go out and provide food services or clothing drives or different services like that. But a leader has also vision, right? And they're able to recognize, hey, in spite of these challenges, these are the different things that we're going to do to achieve the same or similar goals. And effective leaders are people that really have been tried and tested multiple times prior to today, and that they've fallen. Leaders fail. Leaders, just like human beings, just like you and I, we go through a series of challenges, of trials, tribulations, and 9 out of 10 times we're not successful, right? But we get up. We're resilient. We stand up and we said, hey, that didn't work. What else are we going to do? Leaders do not look to blame anyone else but themselves. They recognize that, hey, I didn't have all the information, or I had all the information and I made a bad call. And that was my mistake. How are we going to fix this? This is what we're going to do. Effective leaders recognize that the buck does stop with them, and that ultimately they are the ones in charge of their team, their department, their company. That is what good leaders do. And so I ask, and I actually invite you to consider this. You are probably a leader in some capacity, whether it's for your family, whether it's at your work, whether it's in your religious center, whether it's in your local community. You have a role and a responsibility to guide others, to calm the seas of others when things are going out of control, to be able to respect people, listen to others, recognize your team's strengths, fortify them with solutions for their opportunities, and unify your teams moving forward. I know this is a lot for us to handle because I know that these images and these events are very recent, right? Again, the political spectrum is a fantastic microcosm of where some of these things happen, but it's bigger than that. And I think that we need to be mindful, especially this year, as we become more aware of our current situation, how good leaders can become great leaders. That's what we're going to be discussing over the next few weeks, about the higher qualities of leadership and what it is that we need to do in order to be better leaders within our own sphere. My name again is Iqbal Atcha. I'm a leadership coach, career consultant, and personal branding expert. I really hope that you find these episodes of value to you. And if you do, shoot me a comment, leave me a post, or anything you'd like on LinkedIn. I do a lot of engagement and communication there. Or I'm sure Barbara will be able to share with you other information that I have as well. Until our next episode, I'm going to always remind you to be polite, be professional, and stay persistent. Thank you so much and have a great week. Apparently, I have more time. All right. I guess I am short today. Well, Barbara, I'm going to have you come back on board, and I'd love to be able to answer some of the questions I'm sure that you've been getting from the audience. Tell me a little bit, if you are still there. You're coming back in a minute. All right. Well, let me share with you a story until you come back. One of the things that I learned as a leader, especially when having been the leader of an organization, a nonprofit organization called Toastmasters International, there are a lot of moving parts. There are a lot of moving parts, and the intensity of being a leader, particularly at the top of an organization, is to recognize that each of these moving parts are things that we have to stay on top of. So let me share with you a couple of insights. As the district director for Toastmasters International, not only was I responsible for managing club growth of the organization, but engagement with the members, events for the members to consistently have an opportunity for networking events, but then also driving metrics, right? And I will share with you that none of the achievements of my years of being with the organization were possible had I not had a team that I could trust. Right? I had a fantastic program quality director, I had a phenomenal club growth director, and a bevy of talented, intelligent, and really disciplined division directors and area directors that recognize that when you're a part of an organization, that there are metrics, there are goals that need to be met. And the way that you meet those goals, the way that you meet those metrics, really it's an empowerment. It's a trust factor. So when we say this is what we need to do, we also trust our people to go and figure out how to do it, right? Because if you're working if you're working in a particular area, maybe there's something that's a unifying factor in that one specific area that may not apply somewhere else, right? So one of the things that was very important was to be able to delegate and to trust. But you also have the responsibility of holding people accountable and checking back in. That was something that I learned a lot. So whether it was a 2:00 in the afternoon phone call, a 6:00 email, or a 2 a.m. phone call, I made myself available for my team of about, if I think about it, we had about maybe 50 different leaders that were all part of this organization operating at different times in different parts of the city. And for some people, they had a full-time job. They were unavailable between 9 and 5. And then they had some, evening responsibility or evening commitment. Others were very flexible with their emails or with their phone calls. But, trusting my team was very important. And a lot of the times, my team, especially my executive team, were very good at recognizing how to be able to create solutions. Right? As a leader, you're not always the one that has to go and find a solution for every problem. You can trust your leadership team or the people on your team by posing to them what the challenge is, sourcing solutions, talking and discussing with the viability of those options, and then as a leader, executing on 1 or 2 ideas that will help solve that problem. Again, a lot of this is things that we will discuss going forward, but I think it'll be critical to understand that as a leader, it's necessary for us to be able to delegate and also hold people accountable. I know Barbara's still on the call.
Hello, I am back. Thank you, Iqbal, for everything you do for the show, being one of the experts, and really explaining today, which is going to be really interesting for the next few weeks. He's going to be talking about leadership and the qualities of a leader. It's really needed right now to kind of discuss that with everything that's going on. Well, everything we've seen in the world recently. And I'm not going to go in detail with that, just like he did, but we all know the elephant in the room. But the biggest thing that I love to bring to this show is what the three things: awareness, information to help you propel, and then also just being open and being able to discuss certain things that are happening in the world, happening in life, personal business, so we can learn and grow from. Just like this morning when I came on, hey, things happen, challenges happen in your life. And what I always tell people is, instead of looking at it, just to go a little bit more deeper, instead of looking at it as, oh my God, this is going to stop me from doing what I have to do, how am I going to deal with this? Don't let it, the biggest word that this weekend that I was talking about with challenges, I was on another platform talking about it. Don't let it paralyze you. Because when it paralyzes you, then you're just stuck. You're stuck. It's like you're just, you're stuck in, like they said, stuck in the sand, or you're just kind of blocked in. And that's just like being in a box of not being able to do what you want to do. Don't let the challenges stop you from that. The challenges supposed to be there to open up new opportunities to move you forward in what you're trying to do. So I always tell people, I say, I look for challenges now. A long time ago, hey, I'm going to be honest. I was like, oh, here's another thing that went wrong. Here I go again. Now I got to deal with this. Now there's another thing happening. And sometimes it goes back to back to back to back to back. Does anybody agree with me on that? That sometimes it's just the challenges keep rolling, keep rolling. But just think about everything that's happening in your life, and that you had to deal with a challenge, and then how it moved you somewhere. Either you learn something from it, you learn how to, I always say, move around it, through it, or over it, or even learn how to say to yourself, you know what, maybe I need to learn how to let other people in my life that has that expertise, that has that genius, that maybe I might not have, and help, and we can help each other and collaborate. And going right into that, this is like segueing into what I need to do. I have another new expert that's going to be on the Diamond Factor Experience show, which I am so excited about. She is one of my mentors. She and her other two sisters has been such an awesome, just tremendous pull in my life. I started with them a few years ago under the Women's Prosperity Network, and I was one of the chapter leaders in the Chicagoland area. Well, it wouldn't have been possible to be where I am right now, to be moving forward in my next level, if it wasn't for these wonderful three ladies. And one of them is going to be an expert on the Diamond Factor Experience once a month. She'll be coming on Mondays, her name. And if you don't know this lady, then you are under a rock. Trish Carr. Trish Carr. Fabulous. So I'm going to let her, but what's going to happen is, just like I said with my experts, I'm going to introduce by video, and then she's going to be on the platform, and she's going to give you some information. She's going to tell you what she's going to be talking about monthly. And I'm telling you, take notes. Take notes with this lady. She is an author, international international speaker and author. She's a coach, she's a sales trainer, the list goes on. So when you have this much expertise talking to you, especially on a monthly basis, you need to take notes. You need to take notes. So with that, I'm going to bring her on, and believe me, you are going to be amazed. And here we go.
And hi, everybody. It's Trish Carr with Women's Prosperity Network. And what we're here for is captivating communication. Thank you, Barbara Beckley, for inviting me. Thank you to all of you in the Diamond Factor who are paying attention, who are growing and learning together. What this broadcast is about on the second Monday of every month is about being captivating in your communication. It's how do I grab attention? How do I get people to engage with me so that I can offer them my products, my services, or perhaps share my idea and get them on board with me? That's what this is about. So today I want to share with you how you can quickly, in 1 to 3 minutes, grab attention, create engagement by doing Facebook Lives and Instagram Lives to your tribe, to the people who want to get to know you more, to the people who will be seeing you on these social media platforms and giving them an opportunity to learn more about you. One of my colleagues and friends, Sherry Martin, she's a social media expert. And one of the things she says, and I love this quote, you might even want to write this down. She says, be known before you're needed. And isn't that the case with many of the products and services that we all provide? I may not have an immediate need right now. And when it comes up, I want people to remember that I can fulfill that need when it happens. So the way to do that is to stay in front of people with information about what you do, your expertise, how you make a difference, how you solve their problems, and how you support them in getting the desired result that they want. So, fastest, easiest way to do that is to provide regular tips on the social media platforms. And I know many of you are already doing this. And what I want to share with you today is a simple formula. It's a quick 5-step formula to sharing those tips quickly in a 1 to 3 minute video so that people will listen, will be interested, and want to know more. So get your pen and paper or jot this down on your laptop or your phone or your computer, because here come the 5 tips. The first one is introduce yourself and get to the point quickly by stating the problem or issue you're going to solve. Get to the point quickly. Avoid going into a lot of detail about who you are, why you're there, what you're about. If you notice here, I went pretty quickly from the introduction from the fabulous Barbara Beckley into what we were going to be talking about today. So the idea is to say something like, hi, it's Trish Carr from Women's Prosperity Network. People often ask me, and then whatever the question is. In this case, hi, it's Trish Carr from Women's Prosperity Network. And people often ask me, how do I give a tip on Facebook Live that people will actually listen to? So that's your first step. And let me caution you, I really want you to get this. It's I am Trish Carr, not my name is Trish Carr. There's a subtle energy difference between my name is and I am. The I am is declarative and actually shows confidence. So always introduce yourself with I am and your full name, or the full name that you use. If you're Cher, obviously it will be one name, right? So first step is introduce yourself and get to the point quickly by stating the problem or issue. Number 2, give the problem or issue some context. When does it happen? Why do people ask you about this? So you might say something like, for the tip that I want to give. So people often ask me, here's one. So people often ask me when they ran into an issue. And the issue is, how do I remember what I'm going to be talking about when I'm speaking from the stage? So let me give that a little context now. I would say this is especially challenging when you don't have a PowerPoint, when there's no place for you to put your notes right in front of you. So give some context to the question that you're answering. Number 3, give your solution. Simply say, so here's an easy way to solve that. Or here's an easy way to make that happen. Or here's how you can do that. right? Simply give your solution. Number 4, encourage people to connect with you so that you can continue connecting with them. So it might say something like, you can find out more about this at womensprosperityNetwork.com. There's a free gift there for you on how to network in the 21st century in the new way of doing business. Just go to womensprosperityNetwork.com and get that information. So invite them to connect with you. And this is where you might offer an opt-in on your website so that they go into your database. Because remember, as long as they're on Instagram or Facebook or even LinkedIn or any of the places where you are, those people that may be in the Facebook database are not in your database. The idea is to move them to a place where you can continue to be in touch with them and continue to share your expertise and continue to invite them to work with you at the next level or the next level. So you want to move them from the social media platform to your platform. Number 5, invite them to share their opinions or their thoughts. And all that is simply creating engagement so that you get some conversation going with them. And then what that sounds like is, please give me your thoughts and comments below. I would love to hear what you're thinking on the subject of being able to remember what it is you're going to be talking about when you're on the stage. So be sure to go ahead and give me your comments below, because what you think is important to me. Let me know your opinion. Notice I use the word opinion. People love to give their opinion, so use that word. And then, of course, after you've done these 5 things, you just finish up with Trish Carr, Women's Prosperity Network. See you again Wednesday for another tip. Or see you again next Monday for another tip. Or looking forward to seeing you again soon. Be sure to go to womensprosperityNetwork.com and get your free networking gift. Just remind them where you are. So that was fast, I know. 5 quick steps. Number 1, introduce yourself with I am and perhaps your company name. Number 2, make sure number 1, your name and what you're going to solve for them, the problem or desire, right? Number 2 is give that problem or desire some context so they understand when it would happen or why it would happen. Number 3, give your solution. Tell them how you can solve that. Number 4, encourage people to connect with you by offering them an opt-in or a place to go on your website where they can get more information about what you're talking about. And number 5, invite them to give you their thoughts and their comments right there on the social media site so that you can start a dialogue with them. So here's what this might sound like. I'm going to just pull it right off this example that I have jotted down. I'm Trish Carr, and it's time for your weekly influential communication tip. Something I get asked often, and something a client mentioned just yesterday, is how do I remember my flow and remember to say what it is I want to say when I'm on stage? And I've heard that over and over. It's one of the greatest fears about public speaking that people have. And it's especially important if you have nothing to prompt you, like a PowerPoint or keynote, or if you're not even able to have a place to put your notes. In a lot of speaking engagements, there is no PowerPoint and there is no place for you to put your notes. So how do you stay on track and remember what you want to say? Besides the obvious practice, 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 a simple way is by giving your audience a handout, a piece of paper, or if you're doing it on a social media platform or you're doing it on Zoom to an audience, give them a way that they can download a handout that has fill in the blanks or a handout that has information that you're talking about. Because now you've given yourself the opportunity to actually hold that same piece of paper in your hand that they're going to have as well. Except your paper has all your little notes about talk about this here and share this experience there. That brief note, that little prompt is going to remind you of what you want to say, and you'll be sure to mention it. For more on speaking and influence, and to get the formula for influential presentations, I invite you to go to speakingforfunandprofit.com. speakingforfunandprofit.com. And there you're going to get a beautiful presentations template that's going to support you in making captivating communication every time you speak. I'd love to hear from you. How do you remember what you say when you're on the stage or speaking to groups? Give me your thoughts in the comments below. Till next Tuesday, this is Trish Carr. And remember, it's just a conversation.
Thank you, Trish. I told you she was going to have some wonderful, wonderful, I'll say diamond nuggets for us for today. And you will be seeing her monthly, every month on the Monday, second week on a Monday, monthly. And I thank her so much for being part of the Diamond Factor Experience show with Barbara Beckley. And I truly appreciate the support of everyone. Everyone, again, I cannot just say it over and over again. Well, I can say it over and over again that I really appreciate each and every one of you. I mean, just a few weeks ago, I did tell everybody, and I'm waiting on the new stats for the show next week because I get them every month. Last month, we had over 21,000 viewers. So with that, the excitement, I can get like a little child, but I'm trying to hold my composure. But just to be on for the last 2 months and to hear those numbers, that means that I always say whatever I do, if I be it on Facebook, the show, speaking, and author, I always want to bring value to you. I always want to show that diamond factor that I tell everybody inside out to everybody to create an impact. So I thank you so much for letting me do that. And hopefully that you're moving forward in some areas of your life when you hear not just me on the show, but other expertise. So with that, this is Monday. It's a wrap, and we will see you on this Wednesday with some more wonderful guests. Our expert will be Barry Mixon, and then for next Wednesday, and then 2 following Wednesdays, just to give you a heads up, I will be bringing on some wonderful women that is being celebrated in another platform, and I'm co-partner with of Celebrate You, Women in Wellness. And in February 6th, we will be celebrating ladies that were ladies. Well, I call them ladies, yeah. Queens, I'll call them queens. Queens for the month under the Celebrate You platform. And we're going to have a wonderful gala. And from there, we are going to be, I'll say, deeming or crowning the Woman of the Year and Celebrate You. So you will be meeting these women within the next few weeks on Wednesday, just to get to know them, get to know who they are, get to know what impact they have and people that they have in people's lives. And just like I said, to give more information and know that it's not always a negative going out right now. There's some wonderful positivity going, and there's some positive people that you need to meet, and you need to know that they're movers and shakers. So that's what will be happening in the coming weeks. And I wish you, as I always say, remember your PPD, your purpose, your passion, your drive within you. That is what I call your foundation in life to move you forward with everything else. Like I said, the challenges, the earthquakes, whatever's going on is in your life. Make sure that deep, what I call the diamond factor PPD, to move you and say, hey, I am in peace. I am resting in this, and I know who I am, and I'm going to go for whatever is in store for me. With that said, I will see you Wednesday. Happy Monday. Yes.